Welcome to this presentation on allocation requests from the U.S. National Science Foundation Access Program. My name's Joel Adams. Let's see how to submit an allocation request. In case you're new to Access, Access credits are generic currency units you can exchange with an Access Resource Provider, or RP, for time on their resource. An allocation, sometimes called a project, gives researchers and educators time on an Access computing resource. There are several sizes of allocations. The smallest size is named Explore, which is suitable for most first-time users. An allocation request is a proposal in which you describe your project and computational needs. Before we see how to request an Access allocation, let's quickly review the eligibility criteria. In a nutshell, you must be a researcher, graduate student, or educator from a U.S.-based academic institution, military academy, nonprofit non-academic institution, commercial organization, or federally funded research and development center. There are additional conditions. For example, proprietary or confidential projects are not eligible. See access-ci.org, allocations policies for all the details. Let's see how to request an allocation. Feel free to follow along on your own computer. To request an allocation, we start by visiting the Access portal, access-ci.org. There, click Allocations near the top. This takes us to the Access Allocations page. If you are logged in, you'll see your projects, your allocations already there. The Allocations page provides a variety of useful features. We won't go through all of them, but here are some of the highlights. Starting near the right side of the page, let's click Policies and How To. Then let's choose the Allocations Policy choice. It takes us to this Allocations Policies page. This page has a wealth of information, including the different roles and responsibilities that come with an Access allocation. To view these, you can either scroll down or use the navigation bar. This page also has an eligibility section that provides most of the details regarding who is eligible for an allocation. It includes a frequently asked questions area that covers most situations. If you have an unusual situation, I encourage you to review this area as it may answer your questions. This page also includes the criteria used to review different kinds of allocation requests. It has the general allocation policies and other useful information, all accessible via this navigation bar. I encourage you to review these since they apply to anyone requesting an allocation. If you have other eligibility questions, I encourage you to visit the appendix. Further details on eligibility on this page. If we return back to the Allocations page, the Get Started menu provides other information, including links for requesting your first allocation, different types of allocations, and the details needed to prepare an allocation request. For example, if we choose the Get Started Project Types, we can see that it provides a summary of the different types of projects with a comparison table that lets us compare the different types of projects. There we see that an Explore allocation provides 400,000 credits. That's enough for most entry-level projects. If we go back and instead choose the Prepare Requests menu choice, we see the different types of projects listed. If we click on Explore Access, as an example, we see a list of the items you need to complete an allocation request for this type of project. In this case, a project summary, your CV or resume, and then project-specific information, the title, keywords, field of science, and so on. Back on the Allocations page, My Projects will list your projects or any allocations that you have currently active. After you have one or more approved allocations, My Projects lets you manage your allocations. The allocations page also provides other information. For example, available resources. Browse resources takes you to the resources page we saw in the previous presentation. We'll use the available resources credit exchange and calculator in the next presentation. Depending on your project, available resources science gateways may be useful. I encourage you to take the time to explore the entirety of this allocations page at your leisure. With that as an introduction, let's see how to request an allocation. Assuming you're logged into Access, we can either start by requesting a new project with that button, or Get Started, Get Your First Project. Let's go the first route and click the Request New Project button. This produces a drop-down menu of the different types of projects. We'll pretend we're a new user and we'll choose Request and Explore Access Project. This brings up a web form where you can enter the information about your project, its title, an overview of what will be publicly visible. Think of that as an abstract. Keywords relevant to your project, how you plan to use the project, questions specific to your project, the field of science to which your project belongs, fields where you can list related personnel, collaborators, grants that are supporting your project, and a field where you can upload supporting documents, such as your CV, collaborators' CVs, and so on. If you request a project type other than Explore, you will also need to upload a proposal document. Details about proposal documents are given on the Prepare Requests page. Finally, you can specify what resources you wish to request. For most projects, you'll want to click the Access Credits checkbox. If you think you'll need technical support, you may also want to click the Match Services. This matches you with an expert consultant. If you're an educator wanting cloud computing classroom resources, you can click the Cloud Bank Classroom checkbox. If your project involves a Science Gateway, Center of Excellence, you can click that checkbox. If you find you are missing some of the information you need, click the Save to Date button at the bottom. That will save what you've entered so far, allowing you to come back later and complete the form. When you're finished, click the Submit button, sit back, and relax. If you're requesting an Explore allocation, you should hear a decision within 1 to 2 business days. Congratulations on completing an Access allocation request. With that behind us, let's return to our presentation. To summarize what we just learned, the Access Allocations page is your go-to place for requesting and managing your Access allocation. You can get to it by logging into the Access portal, selecting Allocations. You can then prepare an allocation request by clicking the Request New Project button. The Access Allocations page also contains a wealth of other information. I encourage you to take the time to explore it. In the next presentation, assuming you have an approved Access allocation that provides you with credits, we'll see how to exchange those credits for time on an Access resource. Thank you for watching this Access presentation.